That letter sitting on your kitchen table right now, the one from the Social Security Administration, could change your monthly income starting as early as next month. Most people toss it aside thinking it's just another government notice. But here's what nobody's telling you. The SSA sent out a wave of critical letters in 2025 affecting millions of beneficiaries across the country, and the changes inside that envelope are already in motion. Whether it's an overpayment notice, a benefit adjustment, a Medicare premium change, or a COLA recalculation, each one carries a strict response deadline. Miss it, and you could lose hundreds of dollars every single month permanently. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what that letter means, word by word, what action you must take right now, and how to protect every single dollar you've earned after a lifetime of hard work. Because this isn't just paperwork, this is your money, and you deserve the full truth. So let's start from the very beginning, because I know a lot of you watching right now are confused, maybe even a little scared, and that's completely understandable. When a letter shows up from the Social Security Administration, your heart skips a beat. You're thinking, did I do something wrong? Are they cutting my benefits? Do I owe them money? And the truth is, depending on what type of letter you received, the answer could be yes to some of those questions. But here's the good news. No matter what that letter says, there is always something you can do about it, always. And that's exactly what we're going to cover today, step by step, in plain English, so you walk away from this video feeling informed and empowered instead of overwhelmed and afraid. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that the Social Security Administration sends out millions of letters every single year. We're talking about hundreds of millions of pieces of mail going to beneficiaries all across the United States. And not all of those letters are bad news. Some are routine updates. Some are confirming your annual cost of living adjustment, which most people know as COLA. Some are notifying you about changes to your Medicare premiums. But others, and this is where it gets serious, are notices about overpayments, benefit suspensions, eligibility reviews, or income changes that directly affect how much money lands in your bank account every month. So the very first step when you receive any letter from the SSA is to not panic, sit down somewhere quiet, and read every single word carefully. Do not set it aside. Do not assume it's junk mail. Do not hand it to a family member and forget about it. Read it yourself, because this is your financial life we're talking about. Let's talk about one of the most common and most stressful letters that seniors are receiving right now, and that is the overpayment notice. If you got a letter that says the SSA believes they paid you more than you were entitled to receive, you are not alone. In recent years, the Social Security Administration has dramatically increased the number of overpayment notices being sent out to beneficiaries. We're talking about situations where someone's income changed, their living situation changed, or there was a simple administrative error somewhere in the system. And now the SSA is saying they want that money back. And here's what makes this so frightening for so many people. In some cases, they're asking for thousands of dollars back. Money that you already spent on rent, groceries, medications, and basic living expenses. Money you had every reason to believe was rightfully yours. But here is something critically important that you absolutely must know. You have rights in this situation. The SSA cannot just take your money without giving you an opportunity to respond. When you receive an overpayment notice, you have 60 days from the date on that letter to file an appeal. If you believe the overpayment determination is wrong, you also have the right to request a waiver. And a waiver means you're asking the SSA to forgive the debt entirely, because repaying it would cause you financial hardship, or because the overpayment was not your fault. Both of these options are real, they are legitimate, and they work. Thousands of seniors every year successfully appeal overpayment decisions or have them waived completely. But you have to act. You have to respond within that deadline, because if you don't, the SSA can begin withholding up to a certain percentage of your monthly benefit to recover what they say you owe. And that can be absolutely devastating when you're living on a fixed income. Now, there's another type of letter that has been causing a tremendous amount of confusion lately, and it involves changes to benefit amounts tied to income and work history reviews. Sometimes the SSA conducts what's called a continuing disability review, especially for people who receive Social Security disability insurance, which is commonly known as SSDI. They do these reviews periodically to determine whether you still meet the medical and financial criteria to continue receiving benefits. And if you get a letter notifying you that a review is underway or that your benefits are being reconsidered, that is not the time to ignore it or hope it goes away on its own. You need to respond promptly. You need to provide whatever documentation they're asking for, and if necessary, you need to seek help from a benefits counselor or a Social Security attorney, many of whom work on a contingency basis, meaning you don't pay them unless you win. Let's shift for a moment to talk about COLA, because this is something that affects virtually every single person receiving Social Security benefits, and yet so many seniors don't fully understand how it works or what the letters about it actually mean. Every year, the Social Security Administration adjusts benefit amounts based on the Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation. For 2025, the COLA adjustment was 2.5%. Now that might sound small, but for someone receiving one-eyed $800 a month, that's an extra $45 per month, which adds up to $540 over the course of a year. The letter you may have received late last year was notifying you of this adjustment and showing you your new benefit amount. But here's where people get tripped up. That same letter also shows any changes to your Medicare Part B premium, which is typically deducted directly from your Social Security payment. And sometimes if the Medicare premium increase is significant, it can actually eat up most or all of your COLA raise, leaving you with little to no net increase in your monthly check. That's incredibly frustrating, and it's something you need to look at carefully in your letter so you understand exactly what your new take-home amount will be. Speaking of Medicare, let's talk about another type of letter that causes a lot of confusion: the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount Notice, which is called IRMA-A. This applies to Medicare beneficiaries whose income exceeds certain thresholds. If your income was above a certain level 2 years ago, and yes, they look at your income from 2 years back, you may be required to pay higher Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. And the letter notifying you of this can be a real shock, especially if your income was temporarily higher that year due to a one-time event like selling a home, taking a large retirement distribution, or receiving an inheritance. The good news is that if your income has since gone down significantly, you can appeal the IRMA-A determination by filing what's called a life-changing event form with the SSA. This form allows you to explain that your current income is lower than what the SSA is basing their calculation on, and in many cases, the SSA will use your more recent income to recalculate your premiums and give you meaningful relief. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and that is the issue of Social Security benefit reductions for people who are still working while collecting retirement benefits before reaching their full retirement age. This is an area where so many seniors get caught off guard. If you are under your full retirement age, which is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later, and you are collecting Social Security retirement benefits while also earning income from a job, there are earnings limits you need to be aware of. For 2025, if you are under full retirement age for the entire year, you can earn up to $22,220 without any reduction in your benefits. But for every $2 you earn above that limit, the SSA withholds $1 in benefits. This is not a permanent loss. They do recalculate your benefit amount once you reach full retirement age to give you credit for the months your benefits were withheld. But in the short term, it can feel like a significant hit to your income. And if you received a letter saying your benefits are being reduced because of your earnings, now you understand exactly why that's happening and what the rules are behind it. There's also a situation that affects a large number of seniors that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and that is when someone receives both Social Security benefits and supplemental security income, which is called SSI. SSI is a needs-based program with strict income and resource limits. If anything in your financial life changes, and we're talking about anything, including receiving a gift of money, having a family member move in with you, or even having a small savings account that exceeds the resource limit, the SSA can reduce or suspend your SSI payments. Letters about SSI changes are incredibly common and incredibly confusing because the rules around SSI are extraordinarily complex. If you received a letter about your SSI and you don't fully understand what it's saying, please do not try to navigate that alone. Contact your local Social Security office, reach out to a legal aid organization in your area, or call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213. There are people who can help you understand what's happening and what your options are, and that help is often available at no cost to you. Let's also talk about a situation that is affecting a growing number of seniors right now, and that is identity-related issues and suspicious letters that may not actually be from the SSA at all. Scammers have become incredibly sophisticated, and they are specifically targeting older Americans with fake Social Security letters, fake phone calls, and fake emails designed to look completely official. These scammers may tell you that your Social Security number has been suspended, that there's been suspicious activity on your account, or that you owe money and must pay immediately to avoid arrest. And they use fear, pure, targeted fear, to manipulate people into sending money or giving up personal information. Here's what you need to know clearly and without any ambiguity. The Social Security Administration will never call you and threaten you with arrest. They will never demand payment via gift cards, wire transfer, or cryptocurrency. They will never suspend your Social Security number. If you receive a call or a letter making these kinds of claims, it is a scam. Full stop. Hang up. Do not engage. And report it to the SSA's Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. Now, let's bring this all together and talk about what you should actually do the moment you receive a letter from the Social Security Administration that concerns you. The very first thing is to check the date on the letter and figure out how much time you have to respond, because deadlines in these situations are absolutely critical, and missing them can cost you dearly. Write the deadline down, put it somewhere you will see it every single day. The second thing is to read the letter all the way through, including any enclosures or attachments, and make a note of any form numbers or reference numbers mentioned. These will be important when you call or visit the SSA. The third thing is to gather any documentation that might be relevant: pay stubs, tax returns, medical records, bank statements, whatever the situation calls for. Having your paperwork in order before you contact the SSA will save you an enormous amount of time and frustration. And here's something that not enough people know: you do not have to handle this alone, and you do not have to figure it all out by yourself. Every state in the United States has a state health insurance assistance program, commonly known as SHIP, which provides free one-on-one counseling to Medicare beneficiaries on issues related to their benefits. There are also legal aid organizations in virtually every community that can help low-income seniors navigate Social Security disputes at absolutely no cost. Organizations like the National Council on Aging, the Center for Medicare Advocacy, and local area agencies on aging are incredible resources that exist specifically to help people in your situation. And if your situation involves a significant amount of money or a complex legal issue, a Social Security attorney can be an incredibly valuable advocate on your behalf. And again, most of them only charge a fee if they win your case. What I really want you to take away from everything we've covered today is this: a letter from the Social Security Administration is not the end of the road. It is not a final verdict. It is not something you are powerless against. Whether it's an overpayment notice, a benefit reduction, an IRMAI adjustment, an SSI change, or anything else, you have rights, you have options, and you have time to respond, as long as you act quickly and don't let that deadline slip by. The system can feel overwhelming and bureaucratic and cold, but there are real people inside that system and outside of it who are there to help you navigate it. You worked your entire life to earn these benefits. You paid into this system for decades, and you deserve to receive every single dollar that is rightfully yours. So if that letter is still sitting on your table, go pick it up right now. Read it carefully, check the deadline, and take the first step toward protecting your benefits and your financial future, because that is exactly what you deserve.